Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A local police department apologizing for how a black man was treated after a 911 call claiming he looked suspicious. Now we're learning the man and one of the officers may have some history.
And fresh off the sentencing of one corrupt official, another UAW member is named in a federal investigation. That federal investigation into United Auto Workers Union executive kickbacks and cash payments keeps growing.
This time it involves the right hand of one of the union's vice presidents.
Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney reports Mike Grimes is looking at the possibility of decades in jail after his indictment.
Former Chrysler UAW Vice President General Holofield passed away, but his widow ended up going to prison. Then his successor, FCA UAW Vice President Norwood Jewell, also sent to prison in a guilty plea in this case. The UAW very much wants to see all of this in the rearview mirror, but now with this new information, we learn that the investigation and the numbers involved in terms of cash payoffs are getting much larger. Now retired UAW staffer Michael Grimes charged with wire fraud and money laundering. Grimes worked as chief of staff to the woman on his right, Cindy Estrada. She's currently the FCA UAW vice president, but previously held the same job at the UAW General Motors department. This case stems from that tenure. Grimes is alleged with two other unnamed UAW officials in defrauding the GM UAW Center for Human Resources, an education center located on the Detroit River near downtown. Look closely at this Facebook picture of Grimes and Estrada with some local union officials, and they're all wearing UAW embroidered shirts and pullovers. The feds claim Grimes and the other union leaders used contracts for similar UAW wearables, jackets, backpacks, custom watches to bilk contractors. Specifically, they say in 2006, Grimes shook down one watch vendor for $60,000 used to buy a Rose Township home. When the vendor balked, Grimes allegedly threatened to take away the watch contract. The vendor paid, got more contracts, and later paid monthly kickbacks for 12 years. The feds also claim in a similar scheme with another watch vendor, Grimes netted about $2 million used to buy a $500,000 Fenton home. Now, the UAW had a response saying that Mike Grimes benefited only himself and that he should be fully prosecuted to the extent of the law. Now, this is an information, not an indictment, and what that means is that there is a likely guilty plea attached to this. And it comes at a very bad time for the UAW because they're going about the business of negotiating a national contract. Big questions to be answered. Who are the unnamed UAW officials in this? And also, when is the other shoe going to drop for them? We'll stay on top of it. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Yeah, what a mess. All right, Rod. Kim?
The Royal Oak Police Department issuing a full apology for how they handled a 911 call from a white woman claiming a black man was acting suspiciously. That man, Devin Myers, says he was just looking for a place to park before going into a restaurant. The police department says one of its officers went too far in asking Myers for his ID and, quote, verbally detaining Myers for 19 minutes.
You know, it's scary. You know, my anxiety is really high. It was hard for me to go to sleep at night.
Coco McAvoy's been following all the new developments in this story for us today. Coco, Myers is telling you something like this has happened to him before.
Yes, Devin Myers says the same officer who stopped him outside of the in-season cafe has wrongly detained him before. And now the Royal Oak Police Department is saying that officer is getting more training, and the supervisor who was also involved is being disciplined.
For suspicion of being black.
A viral cell phone video and police dash cam show Devin Myers in a battle of words with Royal Oak police officers.
So if I'm walking in a restaurant, what does that have to do with me looking at her?
A white woman called 911 on Myers for looking suspicious.
He's an African-American male, and I don't know what his deal is, but it's really not, it's making me not feel very comfortable at all.
One of the police officers is no stranger to Myers.
You don't remember me, but I remember you. This is the second time you. This is the second.
Myers was pulled over by the same officer over an alleged traffic violation, and he says he had a similar experience.
This officer, you know, he repeats the same behavior.
Myers was not alone this time, though. A witness and the manager of the restaurant started advocating for Myers.
That's insane.
The manager did not want to show her face on camera, but says she didn't want Myers to feel alone.
No matter who this person was, I wanted to be out here to be there as a witness and be present.
An act of kindness Myers appreciates.
But I love you. Thank you. I will always come to your restaurant.
The feeling is mutual.
I love him too. I'm so thankful that I was here.
It's an example of solidarity after an incident that sparked an apology from the Royal Oak Police Department.
That's unacceptable from any police officer.
And the manager says they've been getting calls from people all over the country thanking the manager for her quick actions. Back to you.
We've seen this kind of thing happen all over the country and other incidents like this. I'm sure it's more to come. All right, Coco, we appreciate it.
Longtime Oakland County Executive L. Brooks Patterson is laid to rest today. An Oakland County Sheriff's Honor Guard walked Patterson's casket down the aisle of Woodside Bible Church in Troy. The funeral was full of memories and stories about Patterson and his life of service. His chief deputy talked about Patterson's drive to make Oakland County a great place to live.
Brooks' mistakes made him human. He knew regret, he knew sacrifice, and he knew tragic loss. But he remained driven by a burning desire to help people. He wanted Oakland County to be a great place for people to live a full life.
After the funeral, Patterson was buried in a private ceremony. It included full military honors as Patterson served in the U.S. Army. Meantime, Dave Woodward, the former chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, is attempting to undo what he did last week when he stepped down from that seat in order to apply for the executive job. Woodward, a Democrat, has decided to withdraw his name from consideration and rescind his resignation. Now, we've just learned the Oakland County Republican Party, with the blessing of Patterson's family, is filing a temporary restraining order to keep Woodward from getting his seat back. So much more to come on this as well.
Detroit Tigers got a new public address announcer this season, and right now he's dealing with a major problem off the field.
Yeah, Jay Allen is in the fight for his life against stage 4 cancer. But as Paula Tutman found, Allen isn't letting that diagnosis stop him from doing his job.
You know, I can't think of anyone who wants to hear the news that they have stage 4 cancer, with a form of cancer that is aggressive and almost always fatal. But then let's talk about the Detroit Tigers public address announcer, Jay Allen. When he heard that news, he simply went to work and decided that he had a game plan, that this was not going to end him. This was going to begin a tighter relationship with his faith. A consummate professional doing what he loves.
The center fielder.
When Jay Allen arrived at Comerica Park last March, he didn't feel like he belonged. He's too big, too important. A gift, he says, to become a public address announcer.
Brandon Dixon.
For the Tigers. It had to come from a higher place than the Illages. It had to be a gift from the big guy himself.
The designated hitter. This is my happy place.
He was told he had stage 4 bile duct cancer.
Why this is such a deadly cancer and such a rare cancer, it starts in a place that is undetectable. You don't get the symptoms till it has moved to another organ. And so it's had all this time to grow.
Jay Allen is intent on fighting the disease and sees it as an opportunity to remove any possible imperceptible small spaces that may have been between him and God.
Prognosis is 12 to 18 months with treatment. Yeah, I'm a man of faith, so I believe what I'm going through right now, I'm going through. But I really, truly believe he has other plans. I mean, I have every expectation to be here next April on opening day.
He will work as the public address announcer every single day he possibly can.
I pray that he decides that this has got to stop. We're going to heal this. You're going to come back completely healed, go back to your living, but you've learned a valuable lesson about my faithfulness.
Paula Tutman, Local 4.
And as you heard there, no plans to take a day off. Going to work the rest of the season and plans to be back next year.
And so oftentimes when you're going through something like this, your attitude means a lot, and he's got the right attitude going into it. So
that means everything, really.
Yeah, we wish him well.
Time now to get a look at some of the top national stories you'll see on NBC Nightly News tonight at 6:30.
Lester Holt joins us live from New York with a preview. Lester, good evening.
Hey, Kim and Jason, that was an amazing story. That's a guy we definitely should be rooting for. Let me tell you what's coming up. The dramatic details of how a fellow camper helped a family in their life and death struggle with a wolf on the attack. Plus, how a fugitive on the lam for years was discovered hiding out underground.
Yeah, I heard about this story. Lester, this man vanished before his trial on child sex charges.
Yeah, he's been missing for 3 years. You won't believe where he was found. It was a pretty clever setup. His hiding spot, we'll tell you more about it when we see you coming up tonight.
Yeah, we look forward to that. We'll see you in about 20 minutes or so.
Still to come at 6 here. Who's better at multitasking? Well, the obvious answer is women are, right?
Of course it's women. We've got some new research putting that theory to the test ahead in good health. Hi, Andrew.
Hey there, Kimberly and Jason. We're still looking at warm conditions right now, but some showers and thunderstorms still dot across the area. We'll talk more about this, how long they last into tonight, and of course your Friday and weekend forecast on the way.
Charges of domestic terrorism tied to Blake's Orchard in Armada. How the owners are upset on the one hand, but no, they did the right thing.
I watch it for the weather, traffic updates, everything that goes on in our city.
Thank you so much for waking up with us.